Okay, but let's talk now about the new test that's coming. So this year, starting in March of 2024, so coming up in the spring, the SAT has gone to what they call a digital SAT. And it's a new test, and it's a bit shorter. It's a digital format, so students take it online on a computer in the testing center. And there's a whole interface that they use through that. It's adaptive too, and this is the thing that students have questions about a lot of times. And the adaptiveness is that what they do is they give you 2 modules of each verbal and math. First module they give you is to determine what they're going to give you for the second module. So the first module is a general easy to hard test. Depending on how well you do, they're going to give you the second module. If you do well in the first test, they'll give you the harder module in the second one. If you do not as well, they'll give you the easier module. And basically, the way it works is if you do well in that first module, you're guaranteed of at least a 600 score, or that's how people are interpreting this now. And so they give you the harder module to see how far you go up the ladder on that. If you don't do well, if you get the easier module, then the most you can get is about a 600, and they're just determining how far up to 600 you can get. Does that make sense? So that's how they're doing the adaptive thing. So you see students who come out of like they just had the PSATs, which is the preliminary test that they give to juniors just to give them an idea what's going on. You had some students say, wow, that second test was really hard, that second one. Well, yeah, it means you did well in the first one. That means your scores are, whereas some students are coming, oh, it was really easy, the second one was much easier, and so on. So.
And that's for all sections?
They're verbal and math are the 2 basic sections, and that's for both of them. Yeah. The biggest problem, the biggest change on the digital SAT is really they've made a lot of pretty substantial changes to the verbal side of this. There's shorter passages. They used to have these long, page-long passages, double column passages, and it was really a lot of reading. Now there's shorter snippets with questions after each one to interpret. And it's a real difference, and it's a different way of sort of approaching the test at this point. New question types, there's a lot of different types of things they do. For instance, they'll give you like a notes passage and have you summarize the notes, things like that. There's no essay anymore. There used to be an essay on this test at the end. The essay really wasn't that well adopted. It started in 2015 with the last time they changed it, and the ACT as well adopted that as well. What they were really looking to do was just get a raw writing sample from the students in case they thought you didn't write your college essay. But in terms of how they weren't really using it to evaluate your writing skills, they just wanted sort of a raw writing sample. It just became more trouble than it was worth, and so the digital SAT has now gotten rid of it entirely. And the ACT, while they make it optional, is really, it's not really, nobody really does it much anymore because the schools really don't care anymore. And I look to see the ACT finally just giving up on that as well. Oh, and then finally, return of vocabulary words. For many years, SAT has always tested vocabulary words. 2015, they got rid of that. Now they're bringing it back. So vocabulary does become important again for students, which in my opinion is a good thing.